simple as that. That's why most of us work, Dominic, to get money.
Absolutely, Darren.
And we need money to pay for things.
Yes.
And there's an organisation that take a lot of money that we earn, and it starts with G.
The government.
Yeah, we all work for the government.
We do.
What happened overnight on Wall
Overnight,
Street?
we saw Wall Street put on a healthy 0.5%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average ended at 52,485, whilst the S&P 500 rallied almost 0.75% to 7,490, and the Nasdaq put on 1% to 25,374 points, bringing its return for the last 12 months to over 20%, which is pretty healthy. But basically, the bets were more confident as Amazon reported at a 40% increase in revenue from its cloud computing business. So all the people have been building data centres, and I saw some people protesting against data centres, and good luck to them. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but data centres could be good if they're done properly, I assume, and that's the way of the world now. Everything's going to data centres.
There's a nuclear-powered one in the United States.
Yeah, I wish we would get some nuclear-powered something. But anyway...
We've got all the gas we ever need, and what do? Sell that. And we're not allowed to use it ourselves because we're naughty.
It's insane. I could spend the whole program talking about the idiocy of climate science.
Yeah.
But I won't.
Okay.
I'll get back to this.
All right, then.
And across the Atlantic, London's FTSE was slightly low with the French CAC, German DAX and the Italian MIB making modest gains. Gold was $53.60 lower at $4,107 US an ounce. And Westex median only rose $1 to $84.67 despite an escalation in both bombing in Iran and peace talks in Lebanon. So it's good that Trump's apparently, if the Hamas people put their weapons down, Israel will move out. So hopefully they stick to that, which will be they've been fighting for 47 years. I mean,
yeah,
goodness me. It'd be great if you could do that. The $8 is steady against the greenback and is currently buying 7 US cents, while the ASX 200 SPY is 85 points lower, pointing to a weaker opening on Monday following yesterday's effort, where our market put on a modest 9 points to finish the week at 8,977.
Give us a ring, 133 693. Any advice from Dominic? We'll take your calls. You'll be most welcome to ring that number, 133 693. Call now and you'll get straight through. You've got some pretty good guaranteed investment rates at the minute.
Yeah, the interest rates, and these change daily. So please, on Monday, if you contact us and it's not the same rate, I'm sorry, but just on Friday, the rates had gone up on some guaranteed annuities. These are fixed-term investments where you invest your money for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and you get the interest at the end of the period.
Is there at the end of the period?
Yeah, you can get monthly ones with they're slightly lower rates, monthly payments. These ones will give you the maximum return, and 5.65 is not a bad guaranteed return.
That's a 5 year over a 5 year period.
So each year you get 5.65% on your money paid at the end of the year and your money back, and it's capital guaranteed by a NAPRA-approved life insurance company. So they're pretty damn good.
That's not too bad at all. What about for 1 year?
1 year you get 5.35, which is not bad.
Yeah.
Banks are offering around about 4s and 5s, but these ones are slightly higher, and if you can afford to wait for the end of the period to get your money. If you want monthly returns, they're slightly lower. But I had a lot of inquiries. The week before last one was 5.5. Now it went down to 5.45. So the 3 year one's back to 5 points. That seems to be a really sought after number.
Okay. Anthony joins us. Good morning.
How are you guys?
Yeah, good. How can we help, Anthony?
I hear that there will be changes to capital gains tax after the next financial year. I have a property and I was wondering, is that true and will it affect me?
Yes and yes. Taxes are going up on capital gains tax. Even free of capital gains tax investments bought before the 19th of September 1985 are going to be reassessed on that date. So everything was going to be valued, basically, should be valued at that date, and future gains are going to be subject to a minimum 30% tax, even if you don't earn any income, which is disgraceful, over the CPI, the inflation-adjusted value. So if you sell your property down the track for more than inflation, you'll pay a minimum of 30 cents and up to 47 cents in the dollar tax. So sorry, Anthony, no good news there.
No good news there. To Paul, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, team, and Dominic, and Look, I'm just trying to find out. The community is always subject to these credit ratings, which I don't think I hand up for at once at any stage to implement with financial institutions and the borrowings. How come are the government subject to any regulators that when they borrow big, like billions of dollars of our money, are they subject to any regulations if they basically blow the budget and they can't basically, make ends meet and return that amount back to the coffers? Not why not?
Paul, it's a very good question. The ultimate regulator are the public. If you're not satisfied with what the government's doing in exceeding reasonable borrowings, and borrowings are good, excessive borrowings can be good, over excessive borrowings, ridiculous catastrophic borrowings are generally bad. Sometimes you can stretch yourself for a good reason, and I don't mind governments borrowing if that's a good reason. But when they muck things up and then they look to the taxpayer to make amends to their errors, the only recourse that we have as a society is to vote them out. So there is no regulator. The ratings agencies who, and don't have really the cleanest rap sheet I've got. During the global financial crisis, some of them were accused of cheating and being corrupt, and I subscribe to that theory. Some of the really big ones just turned a blind eye to the valuation of some of the investments that were being sold, and they didn't devalue or they didn't degrade the investments as much as they should have. So leaving that big sin aside, the ratings agencies up the cost of borrowings indirectly by reducing the ratings of the government when they borrow.
Thanks, Paul, for the call. To Deborah, good morning.
Good morning, Dominic. I have some shares that I've held for about 30 years.
Yeah.
And will it apply the capital gains tax to those?
Yeah, basically, when did you buy them? What year?
Oh,
30 years ago.
So
about 30 years ago.
Yeah, okay. So 2026 minus 30 is
1996.
So they're in the post capital gains tax free era. So you have to pay some capital gains tax. In the past, 50% of the value of those shares when you sold them would be subject to capital gains tax over and above your cost base. So if you bought something for $5 and they went to $50, $45, half of $45 would go on your tax return. Now, what's going to happen is that amount is going to be quarantined from the 1st of July next year, and thereafter you're going to lose the 50% gain, and you're going to just get the CPI with a minimum, and this is the thing that stinks, a minimum 30 cents in the dollar tax. So we used to plan for decades for people to sell their shares in retirement so they could have fund their holiday, fund perhaps their new car, new fridge, give some money to the grandkids or whatever, and pay no tax. It was part of our financial planning. This mob have just come in and said, hey, we don't like that. We don't want low-income earners to pay no tax, even though the law has been like that for 30 or 40 years. We're going to tax them a minimum of 30%. And also, people who are saving to buy a home, let's say, and they're salting away money each year so they can get a deposit for a home, and hopefully they would not pay any tax normally because they would be working part-time or be students or not have very much income. They're going to be taxed a minimum of 30%. So it's a disgraceful act. There's a word that people use in the outer at some games at Collingwood I used to hear. That was an act.
That's it.
And that's what this is.
Sue, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Just a question. My parents bought a holiday house in Rosebud, 89, I think it was, 88. We bought it from their estate when they passed away in 2010, and we moved there permanently in 2019. Knocked the house down and built a new home. Just wondering if we would fall into this new category, go to sell.
Sue, in 1 minute, probably yes. The period under which the property was held by, or for which the property was held as like an inheritance before you built on it, will probably be subject to capital gains tax. But after that, it should be your principal place of residence. You'll need to get some specific tax advice. So contact me and I'll flick you onto somebody, or give what's his name a ring. I forgot.
what's his
Mental
name,
block. He's in it.
Roy?
Give Roy Sanderson
Roy.
a buzz.
RJ Sanderson.
RJ.
Collinshouse.com is your web address, and you can click on Ask Dominic in the top right-hand corner.
Yep. And
Simple as that.
Yep. Ask me a question. If I can't help you, I'll try and find you someone who can.
Good on you, Dominic. Collinshouse.com.